Come along, children. Now we're going to have a little music.
This ain't funny, so don't you dare laugh.
What's good? What's up? Welcome back to another First Cut Live. I am here with the crew, the starting lineup, the starting five. Obviously, our center, our unicorn in the house, Sabrina Ramirez. What's up, girl?
Hey guys, happy to be here. It is freezing in Los Angeles, so I had a whole fit ready. Like, I had my makeup done. I was ready to show up and show out for First Cut Live. Nope, put on a big sweater. So that's the kind of vibe it is today.
I feel that freezing weather. Obviously, with the drip, the power forward in the house, RB3. What's up, bro? I like that jacket, man.
It's cool. I just been wearing the same jacket on camera for like the past 6 weeks. So thank you for.
And I'm never gonna get over it, man.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
How you feeling, man? You feeling cold too?
Yeah, it's a little chilly out here in the CPT for sure. But you know, nothing as cold as hanging out with the cool kids at First Cut Live. You know, so.
That's right, man. And obviously we're going to get into all the news today. All the news that has to do with basketball, of course, because this is officially a basketball podcast now. That is all we talk about. Yep. Sabrina's doing the what is that? The glow up. She's going to come back and she's going to be wearing
I'll be wearing my other fit that I had planned.
Yeah. But obviously, guys, we have a lot to get to today. Before we do, I just want to kind of check in with you guys during the week. What's been catching your eye? What's been bugging you? What's been keeping you up? What's been keeping you excited? How about that? Let's start with you, Sabrina.
I know Noah Baumbach just signed for like a little Netflix deal, and he's making a film with Adam Driver and Greta Gerwig. And it had me thinking, how many films can we possibly have with Adam Driver and Greta Gerwig? Is this going to be like a Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone situation? Sometimes, even if you have like a good duo, you don't need to overdo it. So hopefully this is good. And then after this, they kind of chill out on that. But you know, I love to see Greta. I love to see Adam Driver do their thing. Besides that, it's just basically catching up on a lot of films. I started Pieces of a Woman.
Ooh, I want to see that. Vanessa Kirby's my girl.
I had to stop after like 20, 30 minutes because it was very intense. And I was just like, you know what? Not today.
I want to see that. I know Noah Baumbach has like some sort of deal with Netflix. I know he signed that because he did the other movies.
The
he did Marwitz stories.
Yeah.
But when before he did that, he signed a like Adam Sandler type deal with Netflix, where he's doing like a 5-picture deal, something like that.
Yeah.
So this is probably another one in that lineup after Marriage Story. How about you, RB3?
Either way, I'm excited about it. I love Noah Baumbach. You can watch our episode, the meaning of, we talked about Noah Baumbach. I know you're a fan of that. That was before Sabrina. That was before you even part of our thing, right? Yeah.
That was the first ever episode of The Meaning Of that I ever watched of yours, because obviously I'm a huge Baumbach fan, so I had to check that one out. Sad I wasn't there, but I'm happy that we all gave love to Marriage Story last year.
Yeah, we did.
We did.
I gave it a lot of love. I mean, you did too, Sabrina, to be fair.
Yeah, it's both
we both put it number one. Number one.
Yeah.
It was quite the viewing experience, that's for sure.
Yeah, intense indeed.
Me and all the old homies at a Landmark, that theater Landmark.
Oh yeah, we did see that Landmark, right? Yeah.
Well, y'all did. I saw it by myself. I had to drive over there.
Oh really? Oh, okay. My bad.
Yeah.
I think that was. I think that was a USC screen that we saw that too, Sabrina, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. They gave us little tissues and everything. They set us up good.
They did give us tissues and a free wine, free thing of wine. So.
Oh yeah, there was wine too. Yeah. Wine, tissues, Marriage Story, A+.
Yeah.
Are y'all ready to go back to like crowds and shit? I was thinking about it the other day because I saw some footage of some cons, and I was like, man, are y'all ready to be like shoulder to shoulder, bumping up and grinding up on people?
I would love to be. I would love, if it was safe right now, I would love to just be in the middle of a concert, getting everybody else's sweat on me. Like, obviously, currently, in the way that everything's working out, it sounds like a nightmare. But if it was safe and we're all okay, I'm here for that.
That's why I asked that too, because I don't even know if we're ever going to reach that point where everyone's kind of cool with it. I mean, obviously, I have like social anxiety. I have claustrophobia. I have a ton of shit that just doesn't allow me to take that as a positive in any way. But at the same time, I'm like, I just don't see us ever going back to that. I really don't. I think it's going to take a couple of years.
A hot minute. Yeah.
before people are okay with these kind of big crowds and shit if they ever get back to it. I don't know. That's just me. I don't know. What do you think, RB3? You want to be grinding up on people right now?
No, I didn't like grinding up on people to begin with. So
that's what I say.
That's definitely something that I wasn't that great about. But I do miss like going to places. Like I do miss concerts. I never actually been to a festival. Well, I actually did go to Camp Flog Knock once upon a time. But beyond that, I never actually like been to like a real like festival. That was something I was looking forward to doing in 2020. I never, obviously I've been to cons. Like 2016 is the first Comic-Con I ever been to. But it's still something that I'm still kind of getting used to or whatever, still want to be involved in. I'm looking forward to that. That being said, though,
concerts. What about concerts?
Yeah, concerts. Yeah. I mean, I do feel like concerts are probably, I feel like concerts are a little different. I guess it depends on the concert venue, but I think concerts are a little different than festivals. Like I'd be excited to go to a concert like almost right now, like not necessarily right now, but like because it is pretty packed out, but or it would be pretty tight. But I do think that there's probably more of a way to control a concert than there will be to control like a festival, at least the way I imagine it. Like you could probably do like every other seat like at a concert or something like that, make it a little easier. So I can see that one coming a little bit closer down the line than like a full-on like Coachella or something like that, where literally you're neck and neck with people like breathing their same air. So that's something. I'm not looking forward to that, but I am looking forward to seeing, because I think honestly a lot of reasons why we're not seeing like the big artists like dropping a lot of dope music is because they can't even tour right now. So
yeah. I definitely don't. I don't know, because there's this thing about even before pandemic and COVID and all this jazz, people were still getting sick when they went to concerts and Coachellas and festivals and cons. Con flu, RB3. Like, well, you did a couple cons, but all about
the con flu.
San Diego Comic-Con, con flu. It's real. Like, you will get sick, like, regardless, like 100%. You're going in to get germs from everyone else. It's that packed out. You know about it because we went there and we were, grinding up on people, because that's what it is.
Well, I wouldn't say grinding up, but yeah, it was.
I would.
It was.
I did.
Tight. It was tight.
Hey, okay.
I backed it up.
Hey, back it up. Hey, no, I that's one thing and I will say, like, I'm glad they did cancel the Comic-Cons or whatever, because oh my god, like you get normal sick just being at a Comic-Con.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. It's like germ central.
Yeah. So
it is literally there to pick up germs. You're germ everywhere.
Yeah, so I'm not looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to being back at a con, but I'm not looking forward to the crowds and the being next to somebody every 2 seconds. I'm not looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Part of me feels
shoulder. I'm the opposite. I literally just want to rub some shoulders with strangers right now. I'm not even mad about it. I really do want to. I'm missing that kind of interaction.
Yeah, I really do feel like there's some point right now where we're reaching where mentally, I don't know, man. What was I watching the other night that I really felt like, man, humans. Oh yeah, it was a documentary. I was watching the Bee Gees documentary. I don't know if you guys have seen that. It's really good, actually. I love the Bee Gees, but part of that is because my dad grew up with them. But they were doing their concerts, and I saw a lot of footage of concert venues, and I'm like, man, I feel like humanity was meant to like. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love concerts. Like, they were meant to gather together with a bunch of strangers and like have an experience with them. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, I really do love that attitude and that feeling of just experiencing something with a ton of strangers and a giant crowd, and they're all singing a song, or they're all crying, or they're all, singing along, something like that really makes you feel like this is what humans are supposed to do, and we're not doing it. And we're all going kind of cuckoo right now. I, for one, am one of them. So I feel like, I don't know. I'm ready for this to be done, man. I'm going to give it another 2 months, and then I'm going to be like, yo, what up? Deuces, Gavin Newsom.
Gavin Newsom.
Straight up. Gavin Newsom said it's okay.
Not the gal.
I know. I don't like that guy either.
Damn. You were the strictest one out of all of us.
I know. I'm playing. You guys know I'm kidding.
I know you're playing. I know you're playing, but like, it's just funny to hear that. I know we're all going like stir crazy. Like, it really does. It feels so far away.
No me vengan con eso, man. You guys don't count, bro. Y'all got significant others. Y'all got like, y'all don't count. Don't tell me about your like sadness and crap. Don't come at me with that, bro. Everyone in the chat.
Take a shot every time Andres mentions that we have significant others and he doesn't. It's once every live stream, I swear.
Yeah.
Hey.
It's because I'm proud of y'all, man. I'm a proud parent, bro.
Thank you. I'm proud of you. We're proud of you too, Andres. You know,
We're not.
You're about to catch a young snatch out there.
Especially not in this era. No, it really is because I'm proud of y'all. You know, at that moment where like I'm rewatching Death Note, and where like the parent is like, you know, he's like, hey mom, this is my friend. Her name is blah blah blah. And the parent's like, yeah, oh man, my son Jimmy. Like I'm at that point where I'm like proud of you guys that you guys are like, you know, growing up, moving on with your life, having happy lives, significant others and crap. I'm the proud old papa. Yeah. That's what
proud
I'm.
old papa.
Oh, yeah, man. Yeah. So that's why I bring it up, Sabrina. Not for any other reason.
You're gonna be the first one to get married out of all of us. I'm manifesting. It's happening.
I don't want to be. I definitely don't.
Yeah,
I don't
you
want
do.
to be. No, I really don't. Either way, let's get to the real stuff right here, which is, let's start with the stock, man, because I feel like this is wild.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever heard more about stocks in my entire life, and I went to Arizona State Business School.
Right.
And I still didn't even hear about that stocks that much.
Sunlight gonna help her if she's
Oops,
not?
my bad. That was a Twitch window. By the way, people, we are on Twitch. Twitch.tv/firstcuttmo. Be sure to check us out there. Subscribe there. Follow us there. We're trying to get to 50 subscribers or 50 followers on Twitch by the middle of next month. So if y'all can help us out, help us become Twitch affiliates. Some of y'all are already right there right now, so we appreciate y'all. But again, follow us on Twitch, FirstCutTMO. I'm sorry, Andres, what were you saying?
I don't think I've ever heard this much about stocks before, man. I mean, I don't know if you guys keep up with the stock market or the stock exchange or all that stuff. It sounds like you do, RB3. But what's going on now with the Reddit and the AMC and GameStop specifically, and obviously the Robinhood app, which kind of blew up today. Why don't you walk us through it a little bit, RB3, since you are our stock market guru? Go ahead, man.
I will never claim myself to be a stock market guru. And I actually, it's funny because I only really know as much about stocks as my friends know about stocks, because my friends from high school, we're all in the group chat, the Goofies, and we just talk about we talk about whatever. But you know, they're engineers and they're big money people, so they like to talk about stocks and buying in all that. I personally am not a gambler, so I never really followed, but they have been telling me about like a lot of the whole they've been linking. So the whole story that happened is there's been like GameStop. I'm gonna use GameStop because GameStop's like the easiest like go-to example, but it also is gonna apply to AMC in a little bit. GameStop obviously failing company, not doing all that well, not making a lot of money, closing a lot of locations, and their stock was about at $4 at one point. So what ends up happening is when stocks and companies do really bad and stocks go really low, what starts to happen is that these hedge funds like Melvin Capital will short the stock. And you know, if you want to know more about shorting and all that stuff, you should watch The Big Short. They go like really deep into it, but they're talking more about houses. But essentially what happens in this case is that when you're shorting a stock, you're essentially draining it out of value, so you're causing it to go out of business like even faster. So what probably one very wise person on Reddit said was, hey, why don't we take all of our money, collectively, and just put it in the GameStop. And that's actually a move they had been doing for a couple of other companies before, like BlackBerry. I know BlackBerry was something that my friends were talking about for a while. But at the time, they weren't talking about it being something from Wall Street Bets. They're talking about, it's because, they heard from somewhere that they're doing cybersecurity now instead of making cell phones. So that's why the market was trending upwards. But then we start to look at the origins of a lot of this stuff. It was coming from that Wall Street Bets Reddit page. Long story short, the stocks for GameStop were getting shorted. They ended up boosting it. It went from $4 at a certain point last year to now it peaked yesterday at like 470, something like that. So literally over 100,000% increase in stock price, right? And then they decided to target their efforts towards AMC theaters. Now this is the part where I feel really, really stupid, because as y'all two know, I'm a morning person. I wake up super, super early. I wake up at like 6:30. And then as I woke up at 6:30, I already woke up to my group chat talking about buy AMC, buy AMC. It's going crazy. It's going crazy. I'm like, wait, what? And I was just kind of looking, and then like literally in a matter of minutes, like literally by like 7 o'clock, a big like New York Times article came out about the Wall Street bets, and then like, you know, all these things. Like, so by that time it was already too late. They already shut down everything. So I missed out on the good opportunity to buy an AMC. But essentially what ended up happening is they did the same move. Like the AMC stock was plummeting. They bought a bunch of it, and it doesn't necessarily help the company that much. Like it, you know, it's not necessarily saving a company, but it does create a bubble where their stock is worth a lot of money, and a higher stock value is obviously very valuable. So it's just interesting. I'm not gonna lie, when I thought AMC theaters was trending, I thought part of it was probably because maybe theaters are going to open soon. I thought maybe the Gavin Newsom announcement of them like lifting restrictions, I thought maybe that was leading to something. But then when you look into it, it's the Wall Street best thing. But you know, that's the story. Now, if you want to talk about my position, we can talk about my position on it. I personally am on the side of the Redditors, and I personally love what they're doing. And yeah, so I don't know.
Here's my thing. There's so much to get to. Let's start with this. Let's start with hedge funds.
Right.
The reason why this is such a controversy is because of the idea of how hedge funds make billions off this kind of stuff. But when the public does it, as in just a group of fans, like I've been calling these guys like fans, but I mean, obviously it's just whatever, just a group of people, Redditors, fans, video game fans, GameStop fans, I don't know, whatever you want to call them. They get together and they're able to do this because of what is a stock and considered a public company, right? So if you're a public company, that means you have the right to buy stock regardless of your status in American society. You don't have to be a hedge fund guy to do this, right. Which means it opens the opportunity for a free market. And that's the whole idea of capitalism, right? Being able to buy stock into different companies. And when you're shorting it, like these companies have been these hedge funds have been doing, it basically says, I am able to profit off the death certificate of this company, right?
Yes.
Where I know GameStop is going to die, might as well make cash off of it. I know AMC is going to die, might as well make cash off of it. And these fans of AMC and of GameStop were like, nah. We're not going to let you do that. We're going to try and save these companies, even if it's for like a couple months, save them, keep them open as long as possible and not let you profit off their death because, I don't know, nostalgia or because of F it or because F the hedge funds. Either way, they have the right to do it, right?
Also, I personally think for a lot of the Redditors, they probably thought it was a good way to make a lot of money. Like if you see a price go like super, super low on GameStop or AMC, there's people who just brought in GameStop and AMC while they're super low just for the pure fact of hoping that it'll go up. So when the Reddit thing blew up, they ended up making a lot of money just off the strength of just believing in something. But I think with the you know, there's two sides to it, right? Like there's a side that I'm sorry to cut you off, Andres. The side you're talking about with the hedge funders like squeezing out the life out of these companies. And then there's the side of the actual people of the Redditors who are essentially buying and counteracting those actions, but at the same time, pretty much essentially forcing like these big hedge funds out of business too, because these hedge funds and a lot of these investors in these hedge funds invested billions into shorting GameStop and billions into shorting AMC. So then there's a point where yesterday they said if the GameStop or if the GameStop and the AMC stock continue to go up at the place it was going out, all like the Melvin Capital, that whole hedge fund would have been out of business by Friday. Automatically just would have been done because they ended up betting so much on this. And that's what it really is. Like stocks is nothing more than just gambling. And that's why I don't like to play stocks, because to me, it's like gambling. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can't do that.
And they just did a really, really high stakes gamble and they lost. And now like the regular people are going to have to suffer because of that. And, you know, and not be able to participate in the quote unquote free market, you know? So.
And it kind of jumps into the Robinhood app real quick, and then I'll jump to you, Sabrina. The whole controversy behind the Robinhood app is now they're not allowing people to do that for these specific companies, specifically AMC and specifically GameStop, or at least I think those two were the two they selected. And that's what blew up Twitter today when it comes to people like AOC, people like Ted Cruz even retweeted AOC and was like, yeah, she's spot on, because it's one of those things where it's like, wait a minute, I thought this was a free market. I thought this was a public company. I thought everyone had the right to do this, not just billionaires, not just hedge fund companies. And now you're saying only rich people, only giant companies are allowed to do this kind of stuff. But when a regular video game person does it, or Redditor does it, or just a regular old dude who likes GameStop, I don't know, does it, which they have the right to, you're saying they can't do it? That's when it started to get really heated, because that's when you started to say, oh, oops, you weren't allowed to see that. Capitalism is rigged for the rich. You weren't supposed to know that. Oops. But now they basically said it to everyone. and all the politicians were like, you can't say that. That's not legal. That's not even legal. You can't even do that. I don't know. Go ahead, Sabrina.
Well, no, you guys said it better than I ever could. It just absolutely boggles my mind that they're mad that people are doing the exact same thing that they do. It's just like, it just boggles my mind. Sometimes I think about everything and I'm like, the world is not even real. How the hell are we in these circumstances, and why is that okay? So it's just one of those things. But yeah, you guys said it better than I could. Just absolutely ridiculous. I didn't know anything about stocks, and then I dove into this entire thing. Yeah, it's just, that freaks me out. I could never just invest money and stuff like that into this, gambling aspect of it. Even in Vegas, I have barely ever done anything. I just do the little slot machines or whatever that's called. Just a few times. One time I lost $20. I was like, all right, that's it. I'm good for the night. I'm not that high stakes. That's why Uncut Gems scared the hell out of me when I watched
that's
it.
Different.
That's not me.
Yeah, that's sports betting. Sports betting is a whole different level. Yeah. I've seen that, and I can't keep up with it, but I can maybe follow along. This is a different level for me.
Yeah. I'm sorry. You're gonna. No. You go. I cut you off one time already, Andres.
I forgot what I was going to say anyway, so it doesn't matter.
I'm so sorry. I do that too.
Go ahead.
Oh, we got a super chat.
Oh, there we go. So it covered it up.
Yeah. I was gonna say, speaking of Uncut Gems, I love that meme I saw today of when the government is winning versus when normal people is winning. And then it's the meme of Adam Sandler is this is how I win, yeah. and then when it's losing money is
I'm so fucked up.
I'm just so funny. Dude, it's just so funny. Yeah, I don't know. And that's the thing too. Like you said, Andres, it really highlights when the rich people lose money and they make a bad investment, it causes a national fiasco and shutting down apps and calling for bailouts. But when
bailouts everywhere, man.
Yeah, when normal people want to play into the game and actually take some of that money away and actually want to invest in themselves and do right for themselves, then it's an issue. So it's just super 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 fascinating to me.
Yeah, but my thing too is when it comes to the idea of this whole market, the idea of stocks, like you said, Sabrina, I'm not going to necessarily generalize, but I do want to paint a picture that a lot of this does have to do with rich people playing around with their money, because they just have so much wealth that they can play around. They can play casino with their own cash and with these companies and with all this kind of stuff, because they're able to, because they have so much excess wealth that they're able to say, hey, I have an extra couple 30 grand laying around. I might as well just, invest in this, invest in that, and toss this and toss that. Whereas when regular people do it, they probably do it in smaller amounts. But if there's a large amount of people doing it, like this Reddit thread, that's when these stock markets and these Wall Street people start to see it as a threat. And obviously, we don't necessarily want to be a financial podcast today, guys. Yeah. I know AOC is doing a stream probably right now at the same time. I think it's literally right now she's doing it. I'm not saying leave us and go see the stream. That's your choice if you want to.
No, don't leave us and go see the stream.
It's their choice.
Yeah.
It's their choice.
Oh, you're here. Just stay here, baby. We love to have you.
But here's my thing. My point is
Twitch, come to our Twitch. Come to our Twitch.
Yeah, or rewatch her stream after you see ours.
Yeah, do that better.
But either way, what I'm trying to say is let's kind of switch gears into changing this into what's going to happen to. How does this affect AMC? Does this leave theaters open for another 4 months and maybe that's it? Because that's how I see it. Is this actually going to make a dent and trying to save AMC from eventually dying?
Well, so this is the part of the timeline I'm a little murky about, because there was news this week about AMC theaters getting a $971 million investment. And I'm not sure if that happened pre-stock, stock buy-ins or pre-Wall Street bets or post-Wall Street bets. I'm not 100% sure. I'm going to look into that right now. But yeah, I do think, I don't think it's necessarily a lifeline. Like we probably will see AMC theaters stick around a little bit longer, but then that's also partially, here we go, just blending stories. We don't have to move on just yet, but I think partially maybe the Godzilla pushing back a week, there is a little bit of an indicator of maybe there might be some change in tide coming soon, with the theatrical versus the not being open, because I do think, for one, we are seeing a lot of cinemas overseas start to open, right? And we've seen, there's a great Hollywood Reporter article, if I'm not mistaken, might be Hollywood Reporter or Variety, that outlines like how the embrace of theaters in other countries leaves a hopeful sign for Hollywood going forward, other countries that have, overcome the COVID situation. So I do think maybe the price of AMC stock might be a little inflated right now as a result of the whole Robinhood thing, and it might be false, but I do think there might be merit to holding on to that stock and holding on to hope that AMC theaters is going to open and is going to be successful when it comes back, because there is signs at least showing that we might be trending towards that direction. But I don't know. I don't know what y'all think about that.
I'll let Sabrina go first.
I'm pretty optimistic about the situation, honestly. I do think people are going to want to go back. Like RB3 mentioned, other countries, people that have already been past this situation, they are going to movies. People are posting pictures. That's a lot of the reason why people were defending the like Warner Brothers deal, because in certain places they can actually go to a theater. So the same time it opens up here for us, like at home on HBO Max, it opens up for other people in the theater, and we don't want to take away from their experience as well. They're also waiting for that cinematic experience. So I'm optimistic about it, cautiously optimistic. And I guess we just kind of have to see where everything goes. I feel like obviously we have movie theaters that are already open around the country. It's going to take a hot minute. The vaccine rollout hit like 1%. But I feel like once we're able to get a significant chunk, and once we're able to really crack down and kind of like just like regulate the situation a little bit better. Right now it's just absolutely wild, and it has been for the last year basically almost. And so it's just kind of all those situations. If everything aligns, I think like in the next, by the end of the year or something, especially in a place like Los Angeles, I think towards the end of the year, once we start to get our like dunes and stuff like that, I think we'll be able to see that in a theater.
Yeah, I think maybe you're right, Sabrina. If I'm being real, I'm thinking November-ish. October, November is when theaters are probably going to start opening up. That's me being optimistic. That kind of goes to show you how I really do feel about this whole thing. Just because I don't feel like, I talked about this last week, guys. I don't think theaters is at the top of the list of priority. I think like food, restaurants, gym, stuff like that is probably what people are going to try and open up a little bit more, but not theaters, man. Like theaters is one of those things where, like, how many times have doctors and experts said that it's a germ central and a germ place and germs everywhere and COVID everywhere. Like, it's one of those things where I don't see theaters being at the top of people's lists when it comes to reopening the market. I don't know if this is really going to do much, if I'm being honest. But I do feel like I like your Kong versus Godzilla thing, RB3. I think that's kind of a interesting idea of that whole movie trailer having some sort of impact on it as well. But yeah, I don't know, man. I don't see this necessarily doing much. The irony of this is the fact that out of all the theaters, AMC probably has, the most chains out of anyone. Yeah. So it's one of those things where it's the biggest movie theater chain in at least the U.S. market. Yeah,
and I mean that's what I think. At least AMC gives me a little bit of hope, and at least like I'm not saying hope necessarily because obviously we don't know like an exact timeline, but I do think if there's one theater chain that is probably worth that will probably be in a good position to come back, because we already saw Regal try and come back a little prematurely, and that led to a lot of like disorganization and layoffs and like holding people, opening and then closing again. Now I'm wondering if AMC has like a good understanding of, now that they have like data and analytics and research of how people are going to theaters like overseas and how people are embracing, cinemas like at home, and what ways they're going to feel safe and clean. Maybe, with a new surge of investments, they can invest in ways to recycle their air, so then they could get some scientific research to show that, it's not as dangerous going to the movies as it is, because I mean, again, like I said this last time we talked about this, but at the beginning of the pandemic, they told me that it was not safe to go on an airplane. Do not go on an airplane. Whatever you do, don't go on an airplane. And now they're saying that, an airplane is probably one of the safer places you could be, because, they recycle the air. So I don't know. I think, we just have to investigate and look into ways that we can potentially make these
True, but as I said last week too, I feel like airplanes became like a required thing because people needed to travel, whereas like people don't need to go to movie theaters, and that's why they're not investing in that. But you know what I think, man? I was thinking about this the other day because I listened to a lot of NBA podcasts, as you can see by my shirt, and I was thinking about obviously my Phoenix Suns. As I usually do on a daily basis. And I was thinking about the playoffs, and I was like, is there a possibility where I'm going to be able to see, by the way we played last night, it's probably not going to happen. But are the Suns going to make the playoffs this year? And if they are, am I going to be able to pay to see the Suns play in the playoffs this summer in limited capacity in the Suns arena? Is that a possibility? I'm asking myself, right? So I can start saving up and start investing into those tickets, because I want to see a team that hasn't been to the playoffs in 11 years, which is the second longest drought in NBA right now, second to the Sacramento Kings. So I'm thinking, how pricey are these tickets going to be? And what I was reading and what I was looking at based on the NBA podcast is that they're going to be astronomical. They're going to be insane, these ticket prices. So you're telling me that not only is it limited capacity, not only am I risking myself for COVID, but now I have to pay premium price too? Like, you're tripling, quadrupling down on raising the price more and more and more, and making it only for pretty much rich people to go see these basketball games, and not letting, people like me go see these games, even though I'm a big fan. And I'm starting to realize, like, what if this happens to theaters? What if we, in 3-4 years, see movie theaters become a premium commodity? What if they all turn into that one, what is that movie theater called? Alamo Drafthouse?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What if they all turn to Alamo Drafthouse as far as
you guys
the
are
kind of experience
pessimistic, and
you
I
get?
lost thousands on $A.M.C. today. California will be back to normal by May. Smiley face.
Miguel said we're too pessimistic, and you lost thousands on AMC today. Oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, again, yeah, I know. I see. That's the thing. That's the downside about this whole like Robinhood thing, is a lot of people are losing money off of it too. So
Yeah, it's not Miguel, by the way. It's Manuel.
well, my bad. My apologies.
But let me finish my point real quick.
Yes.
What I'm saying is, do you see a possibility where theaters are now premium theaters, where what Josh Trank said to us, this was way before, what we're seeing now. This was, it was during COVID, but it wasn't like this crazy. He said, what the problem is? The problem is theaters are shitty. And the problem is people don't want to pay $20 to go to a shitty theater when it's filled with a bunch of distractions and when the sound system is like half broken. If you fix that, if you invest in that, you close down, instead of having like 50, 60 theaters in a city, you have like 10 or 12. And those 10 or 12 are like elite. They're great sound system. You get food, you get served like any kind of meal you want, all that kind of stuff. You get free, not free, but you get like alcohol, for example, for adults.
Yeah.
And then they raise the price. They bump up the price. Instead of $20, you have to pay like $40 or something. And now, because the market is so limited, and because most people are staying home to watch Netflix movies, now you're saying if you want to go out to see a movie, you have to pay a lot more because it's more premium based. Like I was looking up with the Suns Arena, where they're just raising up the seats and the prices were you can only buy the best seats in the house and they cost hundreds of dollars. And I'm just like, crap, I can't do that.
Well, I think that's to be expected when you're talking about your whole basketball situation. I feel like when you have like lower capacity, things like that, they're not going to be making as much money. So they're like, you know what, we're only going to offer these premium seats because if we're going to be open, we might as well make a profit on it, or at least.
And it's only rich people.
As much of a loss. And then only rich people going. I don't know if the same thing would ever like happen with movie theaters. I think it heads towards that direction. Obviously, we have Alamo Drafthouse. We have something in Chicago or like in the Chicago suburbs called I Pick Theaters, and they literally bring you food. Mm-hmm. They bring you like wine. They bring you whatever you want at all. You have a little button you could press, and it's one of those like elevated experiences. So that's cool for like a date night, stuff like that. But if you're alone, you don't need all of that. Yeah. So do I think they should invest into getting like very good sound quality, good picture quality, making sure that they regulate, not having rowdy people there, like regulating noise, regulating people on their phones, stuff like that, making it a better experience for everybody all around, 100%. But I don't think everything or people are even going to want to go to those elevated theater experiences if you're just going by yourself. Like I go to the movies by myself all the time.
What about price though? They have to raise the price.
Well, see, that's the thing. So that's the conflict, right? You gotta make a good theater experience without raising the price because the prices are already too high. And
that's what I'm saying. The prices are already too high and limited. If you bring it down and if you're closing more theaters, they're gonna go higher.
But we're also
like Sabrina just said.
We're talking about. But I will say though, we are also talking about LA. Like we are from LA, New York, Chicago. Very high, very expensive. Like. A lot of places it's a lot cheaper. Like it could be $10, it could be $15 for a movie theater experience, and that's where they have to improve the experience. It's not at the iPick level, it's not the ArcLight level, it's not at the Alamo Drafthouse level, because we all go there and we all consume that and we all love that, and that's all for the rich people. But movies are a fundamentally like accessible art form. Like movies have notoriously have been the only industry that can do well during like financial depressions. Like movies did great during the Great Depression, did great in like 2008. Like those are things that can be profitable businesses during a bad time because they're cheap and affordable. The thing that we shouldn't get away from is the affordable part, because that's what's ultimately led us down this path to begin with.
How do you do that though? How do you do that while still making money?
Well, I mean,
just so far there's no way.
Well, this is why COVID is like the ultimate restart button, right? Like now they have the opportunity to, and I wish they would. They actually AMC theaters did make an announcement. I remember in like 2013, 14, when they were planning on redoing a lot of their theaters and making the tighter seats and into larger seats and making the sound systems better. And that's something they talked about doing for a long time. I don't know if they implemented that around the country, but I do see those improvements happening in local AMCs like in LA. Those are the kind of improvements that you'd have to make across the board without raising prices in order.
Where is the money going to come from then?
Take a look.
How are you going to renovate all that?
Well, I mean, that's what I'm saying. That's stocks, buying in, and that's. I mean, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Sabrina.
Oh no, it's okay. But people shouldn't be paying 2020 or 2021 ticket prices for a movie theater for something that hasn't been updated since like the 90s. It should not look run down. It should not be uncomfortable.
Yeah,
that's the thing. So you have to take that loss if you want to continue to go forward and continue to have people actually want to come to your theater. There's so many places in Chicago where I knew that if I wasn't the first one when I was in high school, if I wasn't the first one like right away to go get tickets for like a Star Wars, like The Force Awakens or something like that, there's this theater that is not the best and it's always freaking empty. I think it's AMC or like Lowe's or something like that in Chicago. And that's the thing, you got to update it because people are going to continue to not go there. That's the biggest thing. So take a little bit of that loss, put some of that money towards like updating everything, making sure it's a better experience, and then you'll get a return later on. Sure.
But the problem is they're already at a loss. They're already at a negative. They're so far beyond it. They're basically bankrupt right now that it's like we keep talking about imaginary money popping out of nowhere, which is why my version is like they closed down basically all their theaters, like the vast majority of them. And like you said, Sabrina, they close down theaters like that. Instead of trying to renovate those theaters, they just say, you know what? Everyone's fired. Theater's gone. Bye-bye. we're going to just, get rid of it. And we just focus on the ones that are closer to the suburbs and closer to where rich people live, raise the prices, close down the vast majority of them, and then renovate those theaters, and then those prices. But that's what the market does. I'm not saying this is what I want. I'm saying this is what the market is going.
No, but that's not the way.
I don't want this.
That's the way the market has to go, though. That's what I'm saying. Like,
yes, it is. And where's the money going to come from?
They just got $900 million investment. Like, they've been closed for months. They could use this opportunity now to renovate. They could use this opportunity now to.
But they can't
do things. And like
they can't renovate all their theaters.
No, not every single one. It's not every.
That's what I'm saying.
They have to focus on key ones. They have to make a marketing push. And guess what? They have to move into the digital age. That's also something that theaters haven't been able to adapt into. There's no, I don't know any kind of like social media campaigns. I don't see any of these theaters have like a good app. Like, they have apps, obviously, but AMC's just starting out with the A-list thing. That's like a start towards innovation, but they need more innovation. They need more ideas. Like ideas are what's going to keep the movie theaters around, not making it more exclusive to just rich people. And that's going to turn more people off of even going to the movies to begin with. So
that's my point. My point is that's where I see the movies going, and I don't want that. I don't want that where it's headed now. But where it's headed, it is headed towards a point where the prices were already way too high, like you said, RB3. So what's to stop it from going higher? That's what I'm saying. Like, before COVID, before all this stuff, the prices were already way too high. So now you're telling me that they're going to just bring them down and renovate it out of this imaginary?
Out of necessity, yes. Out of necessity. Do they want to stick around? Do they want to survive for an extra few years?
That's the thing. It's about survival. It's like, you have to think about the longevity of it. Like, you take this.
But I agree with everything you guys are saying. I'm not saying I don't.
It is not. Movie theaters are never going to, they're expensive now. They are. Like, that's the truth. But it's never going to be an only like rich person exclusive type of situation. It's not going to be like,
that's what we say.
Like a theater,
we say that.
like a
we
show.
Hope.
It's definitely not going to happen. There's no way, because there's way too many. I don't know. There's so much like diversity when it comes to the films that are coming out. And if you only cater to one market and one demographic, you're going to be missing out on a lot of different places that you can touch. You really need to get a hold on like every type of situation. So movie theaters are crazy expensive.
I agree.
This price should not go up even higher. Like,
but the problem,
it's going to be literally an investment to go see a movie. It's like,
I agree.
Spend $30-$40.
Don't get me wrong. Like, I really do agree. I'm not saying I don't. Like, I really do feel like what you said, RB3, spot on. This is the industry. This is the arts and entertainment for the people, the regular working class people. The problem is the rate we're going, where there is no theaters right now for the most part of the country, or if there are, it's at limited capacity and no one's going because there isn't any movies to go see. The problem is where we're headed is we're a place where it isn't for the working class anymore, where it is much more exclusive and premium access and pay extra price and all that kind of jazz, because what they need is renovation. What they need is incentive to go see a movie now. Why would I pay money to go see a movie when it's already too expensive and when I can watch it at home? How about a new renovation? How about, like you said, Sabrina, some sort of waiter staff there, some sort of, I don't know, better food, better quality, better sound, better everything. And then that way you could promote it as this new version of a movie going experience where you're a king in a castle and everything is really high quality. The problem with that is that means the price has to go higher. And that means that most theaters don't sustain that kind of restructuring and rebuilding that is going to have to go into renovating each and every one of these theaters, because there's thousands and thousands and thousands of chains.
Well, let me say this too, and let me say this before I keep forgetting, because I keep wanting to say this and I keep forgetting. I think there needs to be. I think not every single AMC or nor does every single theater needs to be the plush, IMAX, laser digital screen with plushy seats. Like, I think there is a good market, a decent enough market to still have the cheap theaters that nobody goes to, or not necessarily that nobody goes to. Just bring the prices down on those. There's a lot of people who go to, who at least pre-pandemic, who used to go to the $2 theaters, the $5 theaters, whatever, because that's the ones that are in their area, and because frankly they didn't feel like paying 15 or 20. So the option that I'm always going to go with is the option for both. There should be AMCs that have the luxury.
Do you really see that's where the market is going when there's no theaters and all of them are shutting down and going through bankruptcy?
I mean, they're not all shutting down. I still see the Regals. The Regal still owns the property that they're on. You know, like at least the ones that I've seen.
Domestic though.
Yeah, domestic, exactly. Yeah, at least the ones. Every single Regal, every single AMC, they're still sitting there. Nobody's buying that land. You know, they still got their lot for at least as of right now. No theater has officially said they're going out of business long term for right now, right? There's still going to be a market to make money, and like these, articles are saying, there's still audiences across the seas who are still willing to pay for those experiences. So I do think, even though while it's not the most ideal circumstances now, I do think, with being creative, with being innovative, with coming up with programs like an A-list, while also having theaters that are better, higher quality, and have a great experience is dope, while also still having a market for people to still be able to afford to go to the movies. Because like I said, like when you're talking about movie theaters being closer to the suburbs or being closer to where people live, guess what? In Compton, there's no movie theaters in this entire city in general. Yeah. Just point blank period.
That's my point. And now you're saying they're going to pop up out of nowhere?
I'm not saying they're going to pop up.
That's what I'm saying.
No, see, you're putting words into my mouth. I never said open new theaters. I'm not saying like...
But what I'm saying is like, if anything, theaters are going to close down more.
No, they might close down. They might, maybe a few, but you're saying like all theaters in totality are all going to shut down.
No, I'm saying there's so many theaters throughout different towns that a lot of people don't go to, like Sabrina just said, and which is facts. A lot of people don't go to those theaters anyway, and obviously they're not going now.
And your solution is to shut it down.
You're saying they're going to stay up,
and your solution is to shut it down. And my solution is either make it super dirt cheap and make it like one of those $2 theaters.
They're already dirt cheap.
Or you make it a luxury theater and renovate. But the option shouldn't just automatically close.
I agree with you. I'm not saying that that's not the case. Obviously, if it were my choice, I would make them all cheap and I would open up more in poorer neighborhoods because I think more people should go see more movies. My point is that's not where the market is going. That's not where the theater going experience is headed in another year of 2021, where it doesn't look like things are getting much better in the COVID world. That's just facts. It just doesn't look like it's going like it's tracking.
I do think things are going to get better though. I mean,
they will. Yeah,
issue like 100 million vaccines by like March or something like that, or May or something like that. I mean,
hopefully,
are they?
Hopefully, the rollout. Like, I mean, fingers crossed that this whole rollout is happening the way that they're, the way that we're hoping. But I think the biggest thing, and I think like. Still, what I believe, once it's safe, I do think there's going to be a surge of people who are going to be willing to spend this money to be able to go to see a movie in a theater. Even if it's not something, like it doesn't have to be a huge film fan. I think just having that experience, that communal experience, like you talked about right in the beginning, Andres, like you said, people are missing out on concerts, sporting events, different things like that, where we're all experiencing this together, even if it's something like that's not even major. So that's like my biggest takeaway is that I genuinely believe people would be willing to dish out a $15, $20, whatever, to go see something again once it's safe and once it's okay. I do think theaters are going to have to like up their experience. Everybody at home has their sound bars. We have our comfy couches. We have this. I don't, but hopefully one day. But a lot of other people do, and you know what I mean. So it just
that's exactly my point.
Well, they need to update it because people still always love these communal experiences. People do, like you said. It's like you're contradicting your own statement.
No, I'm not contradicting my statement. What I'm saying is now theaters are okay. Here we go. Look at what the Disney investors are saying. Look at every single CEO and every single studio company right now is saying streaming is king. Streaming is our focus. Streaming is where the future is, not theaters. We are focusing on streaming. We're making movies for Netflix. We're making movies for HBO Max. We're making movies for Disney. This isn't what I'm saying, guys. This is what literally everyone who drives the market and who drives the production of movies are saying. This is facts. That's all I'm saying is that more and more movies are for home viewing experience. You can watch it on your phone, your laptop, your theater, your screening with your sound bar system in your house. It is for in-home viewing experience, where going out is more of a risk and more of a different way to get involved with strangers that you don't know. You're putting yourself at a risk during this COVID crisis that now, when finally theaters do open back up do we really feel when people have access to everything they've ever wanted at home in streaming? What is the incentive to go out to watch a movie? And that's why I do feel like renovations is going to be a key portion of it. But the problem is renovations cost money.
Yeah, I mean, renovations is part of it, but again, I really do genuinely think, I know you just don't agree with it, Andres, but I do genuinely think people are just hungry to go back out there, man. I do think people are just literally itching, like salivating to go to the theaters, like, and you know,
yeah, but then when I show you numbers,
anything, honestly, like truly to do anything.
But the problem is when I show you guys numbers, 2019, less people went to see movies.
I know it's
in 25 years. Exactly, pre-pandemic.
We've been locked up for a year.
You guys are losing it.
No, we've been locked up for a year. People,
exactly, because it's dangerous.
No. It's like when people say you don't miss something, you don't miss something until it's gone, right? People are missing the movies. People are literally like, oh my God, let me crawl over there right now to get to the.
But that's not true though. Only
that is 100% true. You see this doing
most people go and see 2 movies a year, guys. This is facts.
This is pre-pandemic. Like
most people
will take any excuse now. Once it's safe, I think people will take any excuse to leave the house. It's like, oh, you want to go to a restaurant? Hell yeah. You want to do this? Yes. I don't.
But that's your people. This is our community. This is our world. Young people who go watch movies and who love it. Cinephiles, stuff like that.
Actually, a bulk of my legit my biggest group of friends, besides all of you guys, are just very, very, very casual movie going audience, and that's
what I'm saying. But they're young. They're young. I'm talking about
young. Why do you gotta mention that I'm young?
Because I really do feel like we kind of put ourselves in a bubble and we think everyone thinks like we do, and that's not the case. Like there's a lot of middle-aged people, of middle-aged moms who go see movies twice a year, 3 times a year, and that's it. And now you're telling them who already said, I'm barely going to see a movie or 2 this year. Now you're telling them that they have access to all this stuff at home where they don't have to pay $20 and then parking and then popcorn and then soda and then their kids and then all that stuff, where they can just get Trolls World Tour on their screen or Disney's Raven, whatever, Raya the Last Dragon on their screen, and they don't have to go out. And now you're saying that they're just going to be like, oh my God, I've been dying to go out. No, they're not. They're just like, oh my God, I can just stay at home. Why would I spend gas, spend popcorn, spend soda, spend parking, spend all this stuff to go out when I literally have the same access to this stuff at home? Because that's where the studios and the market is driving us. They're driving us to streaming platforms. And now I'm saying that in a year of 2019, where the movie going experience was going down, like the graph was like this, like less and less people were going to see movies every year. And now you're saying that all of a sudden when they can just watch it at home, they're going to be like, I need to go out?
Yeah.
Why?
I think people legit want to go. I think people legit want to go out, and I've said that. And again, this is why I just actually need to start preparing for these streams, because again, like I said, there was an article. It was Variety. It was Hollywood Reporter. It was somewhere where they looked at the Asian markets that have began opening theaters overseas, and the studies has shown that people were even more enthusiastic to go to theaters now because they've missed out on it for a year. They were ready to jump, and it should be an encouraging sign for Hollywood. I'm going to find this article real quick, but
I know what you're talking about. I saw that one too.
Yeah, but real quick, and I just want to make a correction earlier. So there was a private equity firm actually called Silver Lake, Sabrina, that capitalized, that invested converts the $600 million bond into AMC equity. So it says it's lightening the cinema giant's debt load while taking advantage of his market surge. So again, that's what I was mentioning. It's over $600 million investment into AMC that's due into 2024, and yeah, they're capitalizing like off all of that. So again, like, you know, they're like, AMC still has viable ways to make money, still has viable ways to lighten their debt load, especially with the whole stock thing being a reassurance. Now, there are also reports of like their actual stock actually plummeting 50% because of the whole Robinhood thing, but literally because Robinhood put them in a position where people can only sell the stock and not buy it. So of course that's literally the only direction it's going to go down. So
my only thing, and I'll finish up here, guys, is that when we start to see these trends kind of head in a different direction, as much as we start to say like, I trust me, guys. You guys know this. Like, I will rather see a movie at the ArcLight than go see it in a shitty theater. Like, I am that kind of guy who will pay premium price. Like, I love going to movies. I will watch the tiniest, $2 million budget movies in the big screen. Like, I love going to theaters, and I don't want them to close down. I want theaters to keep open and to stay open. So I'm not saying this as a guy who's like saying I can't wait for the theaters to be over, and I'm not saying that. That's not me. I'm saying the problem is it seems to be heading in that direction, and we need to do something to change that. That's what I'm saying. But the last thing I'll say is this, is when we saw the 1980s boom of the malls and everywhere you could see malls, tell me, guys, where malls are now. You see what I'm saying? Like, if malls are dying because of the online market, because of different structures inside of this world that we live in, where now there's different places where people go to buy clothes and to buy stuff, and that mall culture is kind of dead. If we're being honest, it's dead. The thing is, we're seeing theaters go through the same thing that malls were going through when they started to die out. And I think we need to start, like you said, RB3, innovating ideas to try and save it before we head down this direction where we're gonna see a lot of empty, like completely broken down theaters that are just shut down. And obviously we're not there yet, but truthfully, we're headed there. And that's why I'm like, hey, this is not good. We should do something. That's all I'm saying. That's it. And I see a lot of people in the chat telling me to go die, but not play it. But they're telling me to chill out and to like calm down, and I'm being an asshole.
I do think,
but I swear, guys, I'm not coming from a place of assholiness.
Yeah, no, you're being like realistic. You're on the more pessimistic side of like.
No, not pessimistic. I'm seeing where the numbers are going, and it's going down.
But obviously, you're comparing this to malls. You're comparing this to like.
No, I'm comparing it to numbers that we've seen for theaters for years.
2019, though.
Yes.
I think the
exactly.
pandemic just makes things different.
Where we didn't have Disney Plus and a bunch of other streaming platforms that we have now.
Okay. I'm gonna say two more things.
Or Trolls.
Movie theater is an experience.
Shout out to Trolls.
Going to the mall is not necessarily an experience. You're not missing out on something if you go buy it online, but you are missing out on that movie theater going experience. You're missing out on grabbing the popcorn, going. A lot of like places obviously have like bars and restaurants and places you could get food, like genuine good food, not even just like old movie theater food that we used to have growing up. You can get legit meals. I feel like it is just a whole experience, and we're gonna have I think we're gonna see really good numbers once it's safe and people going out with their friends, grabbing foods, grabbing drinks, watching a movie, doing something else afterwards. It's a reason to get out of the house. It's a reason to do something else. We've spent a year now inside the house basically, and it's going to continue for a few more months. Why would we want to still stay in the house? It's one of those things where we've been stuck inside for so long. So yes, I don't think there's going to be this big crazy boom where all of a sudden movie theaters are like the place to be. They're essential. But I do think that we're going to see better turnouts than we did like in 2019. I don't think 2019 dictates the situation where we are in the world.
It's not just 2019 though. It's where we started and where it headed to 2019, where 2019 was the worst year. My thing is to answer your question, what's changing and why are we going to do that? It's accessibility, Sabrina. And that's what RB3 has been preaching for years, way before COVID. You've been preaching about how Netflix gives us accessibility. It allows people who can't afford to go out to the movies to stay at home and to watch a movie at home. And now we have that times 20. And that's why I'm like, how is that going to help theaters? It's only going to hurt theaters if more people have access to these quality ass films at home on Disney Plus, on Hulu, on HBO Max, on Netflix. Accessibility is what kills other markets and what kills it. It's the same thing as every other market. It really does. If you have access to it, and if you can pay a cheaper price, and if you don't have to spend money, you won't do it. Like, you just, some people like us will, like cinephiles will, your friends will, but not most people.
Well,
they won't do it.
Well, no. So I mean, yeah. I mean, I agree.
See?
I agree with you. I agree with you.
RB3 is like, yo, that's my argument, bro.
I mean, no, I agree with you.
You just took my facts.
No, I mean, I agree with you. I just do think people are ready to go back. And then this is from a Hollywood Reporter article. This isn't the exact same article I was talking about, but this is from a Hollywood Reporter article that says 82%. Since the pandemic began, the National Research Group has surveyed moviegoers every week. In January, there has been a notable uptick, and this was published 2 days ago. In January, there's been a notable uptick in comfort scores, with 82% of respondents saying they would feel comfortable going to the movies once the vaccine is broadly accessible to anyone who wants it. So again, I just think that shows people are ready to go back. And again, also in this same article, they talk about how, again, the boost to AMC, how they found a way to avoid restructuring and raised over $900 million in equity and eliminating debt. So then it says, even in this article, a Hollywood Reporter article, it now has enough equity to make it through the summer, even if the circuit can't fully open until fall. So that's exactly what I was saying. Like, I do think there will be, like, I do think movie theaters, like especially AMC, they have the resources to stick around until things get back open. And I think when things do get back open, I think people will be ready to get back into it. So that's all I'm saying. And
I hope so, man. I really do. I mean, obviously, the problem with COVID is that it's shifted a lot of people's perception of strangers and of crowds and stuff like that. As we started this episode with,
Not me.
but I hope so. Yeah, like people like Sabrina and other. Of course not. But I'm saying like a lot of people are starting to question the most basic kind of stuff that we didn't question before, and that's obviously not a good thing when it comes to mental health, and not a good thing when it comes to humans as a whole, in my opinion. But yeah, you guys might be right, and obviously anyone who's hating on me on the chat, I'm not trying to yell at RB3 and Sabrina, guys. I don't.
No, you're not. No, this is spirited discussion.
This is normal, actually. I miss this.
I was gonna say, this is not me being anything different.
I feel like we got to get back into studio days, so we got more of these like fun, passionate conversations.
Yeah, because to be honest, guys, I love theaters and I love movies, and I will never not. I will always go back against you, RB3, when I say I will watch a movie that cost $1 million to make in a movie theater and pay $20 for it, because that's who I am. So obviously that's what I want.
We do.
Exactly.
And we do have a lot of, for one, our chat.
Let's do it.
I'm sorry, our chat's really active. Shout out to everybody watching. I know I saw Meg in here earlier. Shout out to Meg, Cinema Gorilla.
Yeah, if you're still here, Meg.
MK, Songbird, Starfire, all these, all the regulars are here. Thank y'all so much for watching. And again, please hit the like button. There's 34 of y'all watching, only 22 likes. Come on, we could do a lot better than that. Anyway, so we do have some Streamlabs and some super chats to roll through real quick. All about this topic. So this is a super chat that Starfire put in earlier that didn't get read out loud.
It was overshorted. 140. Not normal short scenario.
Oh, I think he was talking about the
AMC,
the GameStop, the 140% overshorted. Okay. Yeah, so it's not normal. And that was an under $5 donation. I know I saw Starfire in the chat saying they really wanted it to be read out loud and they didn't know it was $5. But again, people, $5 plus donations. Starfire is the one exception. $5 plus donations will get read out loud. Here's another one.
PC donated $10. Hey guys, so Destiny's birthday is the same as my mum's and my ex's grandma, who has always been sweet to me. January 25th, a great day to be born. Or is it great people born on that day? How was her B-Day Ab 3?
Hey, yeah, no, it's a great day for people to be born. January 25th, absolutely. Destiny's birthday. It was a really, really great time. Really
that
great
looks so beautiful.
Yeah. We had a little picnic on the beach, little thing with some friends and family. So socially distanced, obviously, of course. So yeah, it was really sweet.
Do we have another one?
We do have one mo coming from Cinema Gorilla.
Cinema Gorilla donated $5. All options have always been good to be. I never understood the debate cause other countries have done well. I only watched movies matinee alone for $8 and I am team streaming forever. Still, the theater will always be there and Gov needs people distracted.
Yeah.
Dude, You know what's funny, man? I have a buddy I've always wanted to bring on this podcast. He's my homie. We've done short films together. He likes to direct. He likes to act. He's a very go-getter, hustler type homie. I worked with him at my production company. But I swear, dude, we love movies and we love Marvel and, you know, big budget movies and all that. I had to beg this guy to cop up like $20 or $18 to go watch a movie with me, because he would only watch matinee. He would only watch like AMC special Tuesdays. And I was like, bro, I'm not going to wait till Tuesday to go watch, you know, Age of Ultron or like the next big Marvel movie. And he was like, nah, bro, I gotta do the special, like, you know, special discount on the Tuesdays, man. And I'm like, dude, I want to see this movie like Thursday night, like when it opens up. And we would always get into these debates where I had to like beg him to go pay $20 to go see this movie at the ArcLight with me.
It's funny because
It
I'm sorry, go ahead, Sabrina.
Oh, sorry.
No. I've been talking way too much. Please.
No, it really does. It's one of those things where if you do go see a lot of movies throughout the year, seeing it on those special Tuesdays or a discount day seriously adds up. I'm still one of those people where I'm the same way, especially if it's like for basically everything, something like Uncut Gems, something like Portrait of a Lady on Fire. We went right away. Jojo Rabbit, like we went the first opportunity we could. It doesn't really matter what it is. I'm just one of those people where I want to see something immediately.
Me too.
And also, I saw somebody bring up in the chat, but basically just about like indie films in general, because obviously we didn't touch upon that today. I definitely think that it's going to be a lot of these like bigger films that we see throughout the country that we see in movie theaters, obviously getting the bigger numbers. Unfortunately, and luckily for us, but unfortunately for a lot of those other areas, something like Los Angeles, I don't think will ever stop showing something like A Portrait of a Lady on Fire or Marriage Story, something like that. I think around award season, we're always going to get those smaller independent films. And there's a theater around here. I don't want to say which one because it's like the one I always go to, but they have like straight up like $8 tickets. And yeah, and I'm like, I don't know how they've done it. I went so many times. It's like right down the street. It's a really great place. So I just hope it kind of like stays that way. I totally understand if they have to raise their prices after COVID, but I think like Netflix might own it or someone else owns it. So I was like,
Yeah.
And
go ahead, everything.
I'm sorry. I was gonna say that's something that we could see more of in the future too. We could see more of these studios owning these theaters eventually. Yeah. And I don't know where.
That's probably what's going to happen, man, which is probably not a good sign either. Any other Streamlabs that we have?
Yeah, we actually had a few that just came in. So
nice.
Let me go ahead and replay. People are really wanting to talk about this topic. Thank y'all for supporting, and we do have a lot more to get to too. So let's see here. We have Bread and Water with the super chat. Uh-oh. Is it playing? Oh, it didn't play. Well, Bread and Water said, love the back and forth on the topic, guys. Can't wait to go back to theaters. Thank you so much, Bread and Water.
Thank you.
Ataris donated $5. What's up, crew? I agree with Ace that even though we might get more people going to the theater after the initial opening after the pandemic, the data shows that eventually they are going down the way Ace sees it.
We'll see.
Ace is 100% right though. If the pandemic ends up opening theaters back up and they still make no changes, then yeah, they're writing their own death certificate. You know, they're writing their own death certificate. They're doing that willingly. They're doing that willingly.
Any others that we have?
Yes.
Okay.
1 second. Sorry.
Heroes Reforged donated $10. You can find me and my bottle wine in the middle of the IMAX theater day one.
Thank you, Heroes Reforged. Yeah, take the bottle of wine to the IMAX. You know.
That's what I'm saying. All of us are sharing it too. Once we're all vaccinated, we're all sharing the bottles. I don't care.
Oh yeah,
pass it around.
We gotta go back to the clinking like in the GIF.
Yep.
In the GIF. We had a donation that just came in from Cinema Gorilla, but it's not a read out loud one. But Cinema Gorilla did say, I'll never forget watching Dark Knight and Watchmen era midnight screenings, and after Black Panther, I don't see much getting me back into movies unless it's the rare Criterion style movie revivals. So I mean,
Black Panther.
Yeah, I will never want to get rid of that midnight theater experience, because that's
Me neither.
That's love right there.
It's too hype, bro. It's too good.
Yeah.
Any more that we have?
No, that's it. Again, first cut that live if people want to support the show.
Yeah, and obviously if we have any issues too, I know Bread and Water was saying that his didn't get read out loud, but
Here, let me try it again. I'll try it again, Bread and Water.
Sure.
Bread and Water, I'm gonna try one more time.
Just for you, bro.
Yeah, I don't know why. Yeah, Bread and Water. I don't know, man. It's just not
Just a
reading.
little bell.
Yeah.
It's just you, bro.
I'm sorry.
We'll try again at the end of the show. Yeah, let's move on real quick to the Spirit Awards. Just real quick, any nominations that stood out to you guys? I'm gonna read them off real quick. The Spirit Awards are usually for independent films, for anyone who doesn't know. Best Feature is First Cow, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, Minari, Never Rarely, Sometimes Always, and Nomadland. Let me do Best Director real quick, and then you guys can jump in. We have Lee Isaac Chung for Minari, Emerald Fennell for Promising Young Woman, Eliza Hittman for Never Rarely, Sometimes Always, Kelly Reichert
Love the back and forth on the topic,
for
guys.
First Cow.
Can't wait to go back to the theaters.
Hey, there you go.
There you go, Bread and Water.
Oh, Bread and Water, we did it.
Thank you, man. I don't know that voice, but cool.
Yeah.
It's a new voice just for you, bro.
Yeah, I don't know.
Kelly Reichardt for First Cow and Chloe Zhao for Nomadland. So what do you guys think of those nominations?
I am, first of all, super pumped. This is something that I talked about when I first started doing this, like on this channel with you guys. Something I mentioned is that the Independent Film Spirit Awards is seriously one of my favorite award shows. I think it's the one that mostly reflects my taste. Obviously, it's a little bit different this year because there's been so much that has come out. Like even as I'm making my top 10 list, there's a ton of stuff I'm having to leave off. But I do think this is a really, really great showing of some of the best films of this year, especially when we highlight films like Never Rarely, Sometimes Always, Minari, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, like a lot of these smaller films. I just think like these are the ones that get like lost in the shuffle. And I kind of mentioned that we don't have a ton of Oscar baity films this year, but usually the Oscar baity films kind of overshadow these types of films. But I do think we're going to be seeing a lot of this in the Oscars going forward as well. And then for director, I love to see Eliza Hittman, Emerald Fennell, like every single one of these films 100% deserves their place here. So I think this is an incredible list.
RB3.
Yeah, and I think in terms of the best feature, I think is, well, for one, I just started Minari before coming on the stream. I didn't have a chance to finish it.
Oh yeah.
But
am I the only one who's seen it? Have you guys not? Okay.
Yeah, I started it.
I've been wanting to do. I kind of want to do a podcast about it. I've told you guys that. But.
Yeah. No, we absolutely should. We need to. Yeah, Minari was. But so far it's looking amazing. Never Really, Sometimes Always is absolutely amazing, as we all said. And of course, Nomadland, I think is probably the favorite to win the best feature category, which is beautiful because I do genuinely think is one of the most transfixing movies I've seen so far this year. And it's just absolutely not this year, obviously of 2020. But yeah, I do think I think it's a worthy winner, and I think it, for what it does, like on a cinematic level and on kind of blurring the line between documentary and narrative, I think it deserves every award is nominated for, personally.
Yeah, I can't wait to see Nomadland for real. I think that one looks really cool, and it's getting so much buzz, and obviously you guys love it. I really liked everyone that was nominated for director or feature is one that we've mentioned before, like, or at least one that I've really enjoyed, like Never Rarely, Minari.
I haven't seen First Cow. I haven't seen First Cow personally.
First Cow. I haven't seen First Cow either.
Yeah.
Let's quickly go to the other nominees. Best First Feature, a category that I really like. There's a lot of great first features for a lot of directors. It's I Carry You With Me, the 40-year-old version. That's the one you told me about, RB3. The Sound of Metal, Miss Juneteenth, and 9 Days. What do you think, man?
Yeah, these are all great nominees. I'm really, really happy to see Rahad Blank nominated in the 40-year-old version, for best first feature, because she did win the Sundance Award for best director, like when this film premiered at Sundance. So it's definitely very well deserved. And also too, Miss Juneteenth, we get two black women nominated for their first features. And Channing Godfrey Peoples is actually a USC alumni. So really big shout out to her as well. And this is, again, just another sign that I need to see Sound of Metal, because that's the one. Well, I haven't seen 9 Days either.
You have to see Sound of Metal.
Yeah,
I have to see it too. I really want to see it.
Good.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it is so incredible. Yeah. So I know RB3 mentioned 40-year-old version. That's something I still need to check out. But after all that buzz from, you said Sundance, was it?
Yeah, from Sundance.
After all of that, like, I mean, like that's proven to be strong in that one. And then, so I think like Sound of Metal or 40-year-old version, after I check it out, something like that, it's really cool to see it. Also, I just like kind of like the actual like genuine diversity, but not forcing it, that we're getting with these nominations.
Right.
Like, we're getting so many films directed by women. We're getting so much recognition for other stories that aren't typically highlighted as much as they are right now. So I just think that's the biggest thing. And that's why I always talk about the Independent Film Spirit Awards. Not also because like they're one of the most entertaining. We have like John Mulaney, we have Aubrey Plaza,
right.
like whoever's hosting, like it's just like balls to the wall insane. I love it.
I think, correct me if I'm wrong, what won last year? I'm trying to think of what won last year. Was it the Aquafina movie that won, right?
That's right.
I think
That's
so,
right.
yeah. And then
And then the Uncut Gems brothers won for best first feature, I think, or best something, best director.
Best director, I think. And then Adam Sandler won. You know,
Best
like we
actor.
get all these,
Yeah.
we get all these other options that, you know, a lot of snubs from the Oscars, stuff that's not getting
was
the
cool.
same amount of love.
Last year was cool, man.
Yeah.
It was definitely really mixed up and really different and cool, like you said, Sabrina. Real quick, best female lead and best male lead, and then we'll finish up there. Nicole Beharie for Miss Juneteenth, Viola Davis for Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, Sydney Flanagan for Never Rarely, Julia Gardner for The Assistant, Frances McDormand for Nomadland, and Carey Mulligan for Promising Young Woman.
This is serious because for all the other awards that have been happening already, so we have two front runners for best male lead. Riz Ahmed is actually creeped up to Chadwick Boseman, and they're basically tied in terms of awards. I think they both won 9 awards each. And then for female lead, Frances McDormand and Carey Mulligan are also tied in terms of like who's won so far. So it's going to be really interesting to see how this shapes up. I'm pretty sure it's probably going to be Frances McDormand and Chadwick Boseman. But Riz Ahmed, that was a really, really incredible performance. Chadwick's was just haunting and so good. The monologues that he has in that film. But I would like to see it go to like Sydney Flanagan, honestly.
Yeah. If I'm being real, I haven't seen Nomadland, but yeah, Sydney Flanagan is my choice there. RB3, what do you think?
Well, I love seeing Nicole Barahi. No, I'm really butchering that last name. So I apologize for Miss Juneteenth nominated, because that was also a really good layered performance. You know, especially when it's a movie about like pageantry too. Like there's a lot of, you know, things that go into that. In fact, I almost feel like this whole female lead category could really just be the Oscar nominations, like in and of itself. Like, and there probably is going to be a lot of overlap with Viola Davis, Frances McDormand, and like you said, Carey Mulligan. And I mean, also, I haven't fully seen The Assistant, but I know you've been shouting it out mad times.
I have, yeah.
Just Julia Gardner. But yeah, Never Really, Sometimes, Always is a standout. I would actually like to see Viola Davis have a chance too, because I do think she was amazing, and Ma Rainey as well. But to me, it's undeniably Frances McDormand in the female lead category, because she just really puts it all out there. When you watch that movie, it's amazing. And male lead, I mean, of course, it's great to honor Chadwick. Part of me gets excited that, you know, he's gonna win, but it's also heartbreaking. He's passed away and all that. It's just really hard to even like think about that performance. But then it's also kind of sad too, because there's also a small part of me that wants him to compete in supporting that, so that, you know, we could see someone like a Riz Ahmed or like a Stephen Yeun and Minari get some looks, because he was really, really great in that, and at least the first hour that I saw of that movie as well. So
Yeah, real quick, just to show up what you were saying, RB3. Riz Ahmed, Chadwick Boseman, Rob Morgan for Bull, Stephen Yen, and Ardish Gaurav for White Tiger.
I don't know about that one.
Really? Did you not like White Tiger?
I've never seen it, so I don't know.
Oh, okay. It sounded like you hated
Said
it.
it like you.
Yeah. I was like, damn,
I don't
bro.
know about that one.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, what did he do?
He sounds white. I don't know. So
He's like Indian.
oh, okay. Oh, my bad. Keep him down.
Ardish Gaurav? Ardash Gaurav?
I'm just looking at how it's spelled.
I'm butchering his name.
It looked Russian to me, so that was the only thing.
No, I think he's Indian, bro.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, I think Chadwick has an edge there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like you said, it's going to be sad, but I really do feel like it might be necessary. I haven't even seen Ma Rainey's, and I still think he's worthy of it.
Yeah, he just should win an Oscar. He should win an Oscar, just in general.
True. Also, anything else you guys want to touch on before we say goodbye? Because it's been an hour and a half.
Well, we have a video from the great Paulo.
Oh, no, let's do that as a tease for next week.
Yeah. So as y'all know, Sundance is kicking off. Currently starting this week. So because of that, we have the great Paulo Yama. He's actually going to be doing some coverage for us on First Cut, and maybe for Geeks of Color too. Who knows? But next week, next Thursday, we're going to do a full stream where Paulo Yama is going to join us, and he's going to talk to us about some of the stuff he saw at Sundance this year and what he's really, really excited about to talk about. And that's really, really exciting. But for right now, we do have a video of him previewing his most anticipated. He recorded this before he saw anything because the Sundance did start today. But let's see what Paulo Yama is excited about for Sundance.
What's going on, First Cut fam? I'll essentially be operating as First Cut's Sundance correspondent this year. Just wanted to give you a little heads up on some films to keep on your radar as the weekend goes on. One is Prisoners of the Ghostland. This is a post-apocalyptic genre movie from beloved Japanese auteur Sion Sono. Nicolas Cage stars in this. It might not be a similar movie, but it kind of gives me the same energy as Mandy from a couple of years ago. Next one is Passing. This is Rebecca Hall's directorial debut. It's an adaptation of Nella Larsen's novel, and it explores things like gender, sexuality, and class in the 1920s. Stars Tessa Thompson and Ruth Negga. Sounds really interesting to me. Summer of Soul, or When the Revolution Could Not Be Televised. This is legendary musician Questlove's directorial debut about the Harlem Cultural Festival, which took place concurrent with Woodstock in summer of '69. A lot of this is new footage. People like Stevie Wonder, Herbie Mann. On the Count of Three, this is Gerard Carmichael's directorial debut, starring him and Christopher Abbott about two friends who make a pact to end their lives at the end of their day. Early buzz has this compared to something like the Safdie brothers, so that sounds fascinating. I think keep an eye out for that one. And then Cusp, which is this documentary about three teenage girls in Texas. A lot of early buzz has this kind of compared to Minding the Gap. It seems like it's this big linchpin year in their lives. So I think all of those are really ones to keep an eye on as Sundance goes on this year. And if you want to keep track of everything that's coming out, just look up my name on Letterboxd. I'll be logging all the stuff that I watch.
Films for sure. I'm excited to have him on, man. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be talking about Sundance. Obviously, I've always wanted to go to Sundance. It's all virtual this year, which is kind of funny because it would be kind of insane if it wasn't virtual. But have you guys heard of any movies out of those that you're excited for? Or
well, I know for me, I know what's debuting at Sundance is Judah and the Black Messiah coming out from Warner Brothers. Yeah, that's dropping on the last day of Sundance, so I'm super excited about that. I actually did get to watch it, and I have some thoughts, and those thoughts will be on the channel quite soon. So take a look out for that. But yeah, a lot of really exciting stuff. I know what are y'all looking forward to out of Sundance this year?
I'm just curious because the thing is, like, I don't like to read too much into some of the stuff. Even like after the reactions, I just want to get a little glimpse of it and then experience it for myself whenever I'm able to. But I'm really excited for Paul's thoughts because I know he's so articulate with it. Like whenever he's reviewing something, he knows exactly the right amount to say to make you interested in it, but not give anything away. Some people, I get nervous. I can't watch them because they give way too much away about a film. They talk about specific moments, and I don't want any of that. So yeah, I'm just kind of geared up and ready to go for next week.
So am I, guys. And obviously, for anyone who tuned in throughout this entire stream, thank you so much. It's been a crazy episode, a fun episode, but we really enjoy it. I love talking about this stuff, man. I don't care what anybody says. Either way, guys, those are our thoughts from First Cut Live. Hopefully you enjoyed that episode. If you liked it, make sure you subscribe to First Cut. That's the best way you can communicate with us. Where can everyone find you individually? I'll start with you, Sabrina.
You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at SabrinaXMonica, and then also on Twitter at SabrinaOnFilm.
RB3.
You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Director RB3, and make sure you follow First Cut on Twitch and on TikTok at First Cut TMO.
Follow us on Twitch, guys. I'm going to be here talking about Attack on Titan this Sunday. I think we're going to have Eric Nerd Chronic on the show. It's going to be really cool. Another exciting episode of Attack on Titan. This is a must-watch television if there ever was one. It is now with Attack on Titan, so make sure you tune in Sunday. Either way, guys, for the First Cut crew, we are peacing out. Peace.
It's Brittany.